Good morning. This is CEDH Senpai. I was asked by a friend to consider creating a list using Riversong, who is a 3-mana 2/2. Is it? You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top. And whenever your opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a 1/1 counter on Riversong. Then Riversong deals damage to that player equal to its power. Basically, we're going to try to focus on creating a meta deck against Thrasios engines. Specifically, any deck that wants to tutor a lot, surveil a lot, or scry. So yeah, basically, pseudo. Is it draw engines and stacks? I would assume. Not too sure where we're going to focus, but we're going to get into this. I have some packages, so we're just going to import our artifact package that I have had for a very long time. Pretty much we just want as much mana production as possible. Not sure we need Basalt, but Grim might be on the list to keep. We're not going to keep the Fairy. We're not going to keep the Battlethopter. Don't think we need the Seeker. Probably don't need Reshape. Don't need Leyline. Don't need Power Artifacts. We definitely don't need the lands. Where do we start? Well, right now in the meta, there's a lot of blue creatures that draw a lot of cards. So, i.e. example, Fairy Mastermind. Ghostly Pilferer. We'll just start putting in a bunch of creatures, and then we'll take them out probably. Consecrated Sphinx. Drawing a blank on that one. I feel like it's not that many. Polywog. Koshi Island. I think it's Uganami of Koshi Island. So this is a new one that just came out in the last set. Whenever your opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. I think it's pretty good. We're going to go Ristix, obviously. Rhystic Study and Remora. I think Copy Enchantment has a place. I think Steel Enchantment has a place. We're already on a Pester Mech. We have Phyrexian Metamorph. We'll probably be on Phantasmal Image. I could see Flesh Dupe also being on the list. Mockingbird is probably worth it. Washington or Wan Shetong. Wan Shetong, the Librarian, which is the new. A lot of people are really hyping it up. I think it's a very good card. I don't think it's like inherently as good as people want it to be in our format. It's a really good win con in control decks in 60 card. Already on 10 creatures. That's pretty good. I may not run too much more, even though there's not many red creatures here. Needleverge, maybe? Razorkin Needlehead. It's just, it punishes people when they draw cards. I could see Scalding Viper. Sorry, I'm terrible at typing. Scalding Viper. It's a punishes people when they cast spells that cost 3 or less, but it It also puts cards like to owner's hand, non-land permanents, obviously. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I may not run it Unagi. I could possibly run Crom in this deck. It might be viable. I'm not sure. Ghostly Pilfer probably comes out too, but we'll populate the list first, and then we'll go from there. All the counter spells, so Fluster Storm, Force of Negation, Force of Will, Daze, Swan Song, Strix, Serenade. We're basically trying to grab everything that people are trying to do and stop it. Mana Drain might be even in the list. I could see Delay. I could see... Oh, Vivi. We forgot Vivi. How do we forget Vivi, guys? Vivi Orniteer, who is down to $27. Crazy. Vivi's going to be a backup. So, I'm also thinking Niv Mizzet. Perun. Since we're going to run Curiosity. And Ophidianai. See if we can even figure out. Yeah, there it is. Ophidianai is so expensive right now. So yeah, Ophidianai and Curiosity both are whenever they're on your creature and it deals non-combat, or whenever it deals damage, you draw a card. We're gonna have to keep our hands pretty full, which is gonna be like not as easy as I'd like it to be. This art is atrocious, so we're just gonna switch the printing. Sorry, that's gonna agitate my life. My favorite printing is this one. I think it's the most Sphinx-like. Counter spells. Back to the counter spells. Commandeer. We are on Commandeer in this deck. And that art's pretty bad too, so we'll just switch to this. We want to be able to steal people's stuff. We don't want them to have any nice things. And it gives us something early on, since we're going to be in minimalistic colors. We'll have a lot of room to just snag stuff. Dispel probably is worth it in this deck. The Talisman of Curiosity. Oh, Creativity, wow. Yeah, Creativity. We need more counters. Force of Will, Mana Drain, Strix, Mind Break Trap. Can't forget the Mind Break Trap. Red Blast. Pyroblast. We're going to be on Fierce because our commander is pretty cheap. We're going to be on Flare of Denial because we have a ton of blue creatures. And we're going to be on Deflecting Swat. I'd like to try the Redirect Lightning. I don't think we really need Haste Enablers. We're going to do a Breach package in the deck. So Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze, and LED, which I think we're not on yet. Yeah, I'll put that in my normal. Lion's Eye Diamonds. So again, we're trying to punish the meta as it sits right now. This looks really good. I want to run Tasha's Hideous Laughter. If I can figure out how to spell it. Tasha's Hideous. Tasha's Hideous Laughter. It's always been in my mind that this card is actually good in our format. Each opponent exiles cards on top of the library until that player has exiled cards with mana value 2 or more. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we run Manifold Key. I was having a discussion with the person that wants to run the deck. Their idea is we could probably do Cruel Captain. Tezzeret Cruel Captain. So basically Tezzeret Cruel Captain is going to enable us to get most of our rocks out, but also like our static pieces that really affect players. So I was thinking like Pithing Needle, which is notoriously used in like 60 card format. It doesn't really help us. Damn. It shuts off cannon. So the concept is that you can put it on a creature to slow it down. It's on a card name, not on a card. So that card's name will always be there. I was also thinking maybe Graph Diggers. Graph Diggers Cage. I was thinking like Grinding Station. No. We're trying to find at least 4 or 5 targets that we can use for Captain to either get us ahead, or just do the thing. Dol Amroth. Yeah. Since we're going to be a 1-ring deck too, it might as well we might as well put it in there. We'll probably drop Ghostly Pilfer. Move that to the sideboard. I think I want like Professional Facebreaker. I could theoretically. So we have a lot of interaction. We have 18 interactive spells. We're also gonna run Gamble. We're also gonna fill out Breach Piles. We need to be able to shuffle it back in, so we need a Time Twister. There was talk of us maybe putting in some Taking Turn spells. Disruption, so Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. Could see ourselves running. We don't have a lot of red, so the flare is not going to be as active as we'd like. That is one hideous artwork. We'll use the promo one, it's fine. Probably not Polywog. I don't think we get there on that. I'm thinking like Kitsa maybe. It's going to add a. We can copy instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new copies. It's not limited by. It's not limited by timing restrictions. Maybe we'll put Dramatic in. Dramatic Reversal might not be terrible. We're gonna need Rite of Flame. Maybe some sort of clone package, like Sakashima. Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. I think this is the right one. Yeah, So Sakashima, 1,000 Faces. Creature you control. We'll change the printing because that is something special in and of itself. Fairy Artisan. Fairy Artisans. It's going to basically make it so that whenever people play creatures, they're going to have to think about what they're getting because the token is going to come into play. Interesting. I want to run back to basics. Back to basics. Blood Moon. Magus of the Moon. And I always mess this one up. Har. It's Bringer. H Bringer, maybe? No. Harbinger, let's see. Okay. We're going to basically try to limit everyone's ability to play stuff and things. We could be on Jace. Jace. Which one is it? There's a lot of Jaces. Let's go look. We're looking for a flip Jace. It might be good enough to play in this deck. Yeah, it's this one. Because we're going to draw a card, discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, it flips. And then on the flip side, we can control creatures' powers. You may cast an instant from a graveyard this turn. If you would be put in your graveyard this turn, exile instead. Whenever you cast a spell, target to put up what's top 5 cards of the library into his or her graveyard. So theoretically, it's like kind of like a win con for us. It's not a great win con, but it's definitely a thing we can do. Thassa's Oracle. Really good at spelling, like really good. It's a lot of creatures now. Not a huge fan of a ton of creatures. Probably don't need the Needlehead. Probably don't need the Magus of the Moon. Remove that. Flesh Duplicate. Artisans will probably get gone. It's a little on the high end for us. We're going to need 26 lands. That's kind of easy though, because we're going to go Volcanic Island. We're going to go Steam Vents. We're going to go Islands. Mountains. The Verge. I like the Verge lands here. I don't want to run too many non-basics. Because I don't want to get stuck behind not being able to cast stuff. Let's just start with 8. We'll add 8 more lands, 8 more mountains, and add more. Let's go 12 islands. Let's go 2 more. Add 1. Add 2. Okay. So we have Breach. We have Mill. We are looking pretty solid. We need Bounce, so Flood Maul. Town Paints. Ain't big enough. Psych Rift. Chain of Vapor. else are we doing here? Cruel Captain. I usually, when I build decks, I'm really all around. My brain gets really scattered. Felwar Stone. Command Tower. I think that's like our lands. We're on 29. Gamble's good. Rite of Flame is great. I feel like the Unagi's probably a solid card, but it needs play testing. We don't really know yet if Unagi's going to be worth it. I'm probably going to keep this, but I'm probably going to drop the Phantasmal Image. Remove that. Are we a high tide deck? I don't think so. Our win cons are milling our opponent out and then dying. Is there a way for us to do it? Alright, so Ragavan. The Time Stream. Time Stream Navigator is like a 1-card combo with this deck. Yeah, Time Stream Navigator. Basically, you're able to put it into play, and then the following turn you can put it on the bottom of your library. But since you draw from the bottom of your library, you'll be able to do a bunch of stuff with that and keep getting it back and keep playing it. So you can kind of infinitely do it. You would need to do that plus like Lightning Greaves. Lightning Greaves and Lava Spur. Lava Spur is really good here because we can search for it with Lava Spur Boots. We can search with it for the Tezzeret. It's pretty solid for us. I think I don't need Grinding Station. And the Grim Monolith might be removable. That's fine. Manifold Key might be cute, but we'll see what happens. Dramatic Reversal with Kitka just infinitely untaps everything. I don't want to run Pyroblast. What else? What else are we doing here? We could do... Commander's Plate might be actually good in this deck. What if we were on Dualcaster? Like, let's just throw it in. What if we put Dualcaster Mage Lines in here and we do like step through, because step through finds it and it's a mid-range draw spell. It returns 2 creatures on his hand. That's not terrible. It's another tutor in the deck. Maybe we don't do Wheel. We remove Wheel from the deck so we don't have to worry about people actually getting graveyards built. Since we won't have much to really deal with their graveyard, Kyoshi is probably not as good. Professional Facebreaker makes us Manyas. I can probably sideboard that for now. What if we put in like Sink into Stupor and Pinnacle Monk instead of a basic? So Pinnacle Monk. Pinnacle Monk is basically just it's a creature, but it's also a land on the backside. That enters the battlefield, return target ancestor's card from your graveyard to your hand. It's pretty solid. And then Sink into Stupor. Same concept. It's a spell that on the back end is just a land. So we can drop, remove 1 island and 1 mountain. That'll put us on 29. We'll drop another mountain. I don't think we're going to be heavy on mountains. We're getting there. I think we're doing pretty good. Brainstorm kind of just works in this deck because it's hate all the extra printings. We'll just do this one. Brainstorm is draw 3 cards and put 2 cards on top of your library. So you basically just shit them away. You don't need them. I don't think we can run Chain of Vapor. Now that I kinetically think about it, I think Pact of Negation is one we missed. Pact of Negation, that makes sense. The 0. We have a bunch of ways to deal with creatures on the stack. We have a bunch of ways to deal with them in play. We need rapid hybridization. And I don't want to run Pongify, but maybe like Lightning Bolt. Yeah, Lightning Bolt. Ugh. Always the weirdest name stuff. There's got to be a way to just not have that in Moxfield. Maybe I drop the Sakashima and put in a Spark Double. Spark Double just inherently, it does the same thing but puts a counter on it, and we can clone a legendary Planeswalker, so won't be horrible. Trying to think, what other wizards are we running that makes why do you do this to me, Watsy? What other wizards are we running? So we can get Thorgal with our wizard package. We can get Niv-Mizzet with our wizard. Kitska, Jace. I think we could run High Tide. I'm not sure. High Tide would be weird because then we're going to make mana for our opponents. We need Molten Duplication if we're going to do that. Molten Dupe. Heat Shimmer targets our opponent. I think we can use Heat Shimmer on... yeah, we can use it on our opponent's stuff. We'll switch the printing because that's also not where I want to be. Oh, maybe Pithing Needle is just too cute. If I drop the Jace... if I drop Jace and Kitsa, I probably could just... oh, I also have to drop the Time Stream Navigator. I don't know. I think we can get away with it. I think the mana base is going to be fine. I'm running enough blue. I think it looks okay. Offer you can't refuse, maybe? Offer you can't refuse is not bad. Ancient Tomb probably works in this deck. Just as a land ramp piece. I want to run Field of Ruin, I guess, to deal with Cradles. Field of Ruin might be pretty good. What is it? Political Trickery? Political Trickery has been in my mind for a while. It's a I can choose a land I control to choose a land opponent controls and exchange control of those lands. It does a lot. It may or may not be useful, but taking people off of their good lands might be better. I don't know. I'll put it in the sideboard. I think kinetically we have to think about Blood Move Back to Basics. Affinity Knight might not be worth it. Steel Enchantment might get us a lot of hate. I don't know. I think it's still worth running. We're gonna mill ourselves out with Breach. So Intuition. I mean Snapcaster. So if we were to focus our deck, we could play Snappy. Maybe we drop this. Yeah, let's just put that in sideboard. I always think that thing's cute, and then I just never play it. I think us playing this might actually be too hard. We'll move this to sideboard. Bronze Sphinx might also get the sideboard, but I like the card draw. There's a world where we can get a lot of mana very quickly. So we have everything we need for the Time Stream Navigator lines with the Boots and Lightning Greaves. We'll put it into play. We'll give it haste. We'll tap for it. So we need like 5 mana to just take infinite turns. Theoretically, if our commander is big enough, we could probably kill people like that. Amphibian Downpour. Amphibian Downpour is becoming more and more of a staple for me. It's specifically so in a meta where creatures are important, it turns them all into 1/1s with no abilities. But it has Storm, so there's only one spell that can really stop it, which is Migrate Trap. You can't even get around it with like Flusterstorm because it can't hit it. So it's just really good value. We'll get rid of Daze. I'll move Daze out of there, and we'll get rid of this spell. Move this spell too. All right, Flare of Denial. Flare of Denial's not bad. We're still on like 1, 2. We're in a bunch of creatures. I think it's still good enough. Our creature count's really mid-range to high. Let's just check our mana. So we're mostly blue with a little bit of red. Okay. Step Through might be cute. I don't know. Time Twister's cool. I think this is okay. We just have 7 cards more than we need. Redirect Lightning might be useful. We don't need all these lands, so we will drop. Moving 1, 2, probably 3. Go down to 5 mountains, so down to 27 lands. That's pretty cool. We don't really have any mana production in our creatures, but it's not terrible. Do I want to copy it or do I want to steal it? That is interesting. Possibility Storm. Possibility Storm. Let's see what that says. Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, the player exiles it, then at the top of their library until he or she exiles a card that shares a type with it. That's not terrible. Could be really good. I know there's a few creatures that put cards from my graveyard. Let me just look. Like on the bottom of my library. I could definitely see like Jeska's Will being good here. Jeska's Will is pretty solid. Yeah, there's a Tomb Trawler. So Tomb Trawler. This is the best version of this card. It's 2 mana for a 0/4. You can put target card on, from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. I think we run one of those. I'd like to run Time Warp and Time. What is it? It's Capture of Jinzhao is the card we're thinking of. So Time Warp and Capture of Jinzhao. And basically they just take a turn, but then go to your graveyard, but then you can put it back on the bottom. We could do Mystic Sanctuary. Mystic Sanctuary. And then Trade Routes. Trade Routes is a big one. It's an old school. You basically just take a land that you control, return its owner's hand. You draw cards. It's kind of an impulse draw at worst case scenario. I think it might be too cute, honestly. Which means then this Mystic Sanctuary is probably too cute. Okay. Maybe I don't run much as we are getting into. The manifold key might just be... it gets in for damage too. That's probably worth running. Springleaf drum's gotta go. I think the lands are fine. Maybe Strix gets out. Redirect lightning is not bad. Lightning bolt probably goes. The dramatic reversal lines probably get out. I think they're just too limited. Maybe the Pinnacle Monk goes away. That'll take us down to 26 lands, though. Just be careful on that. We'll go up. We'll do a City of Brass. If we're going to do any of them, I guess it's Mana Confluence. Just theoretically speaking, Mana Confluence is just better. Spark Double's cool. Metamorph's cool. Perun's a win con. Toon Troller will give us the ability to just put cards in the graveyard back on top. Cyclonic Rift is fine. I think we're looking pretty sweet, to be honest. Can Drift of Phantasms do stuff in this deck? Like, Drift of Phantasms is basically just a creature that can transmute. So, for 3 mana, it can get Tezzeret, Dualcaster Mage, Harbinger, all of the Blood Moon effects. VV, all the Heat Shimmers, Hideous Laughter. I probably can put this card in sideboard. LED. Mana Drain is going to be a ramp in this deck. Maybe Flare of Denial does get out. I don't know. Maybe we drop like Steel Enchantment or Copy. We drop Copy, I guess. Ophidian Eye is not bad. We can search for it, just like Amphibian Downpour. This actually looks really solid. I'm interested. I don't want to really be on 27 lands. I think we need more. Maybe Jace goes away. Remove the Jace. These creatures aren't going to help us in the long run. Like, they're not actually going to do too much. Flesh Duplicate gets gone. Let's see. Rite of Flame is just ramp. I think this is solid. Time Twister. I mean, Time Twister is one of those... They're never going to buy a Time Twister. But it's still a solid card. Sinking a Stupor is not great, but it's a land, so it gets us there. Redirect Lightning hasn't proven itself yet, but it's not a bad card. I don't like this art. Switch Printing. I forgot that Rapid Hybridizations has this foil, which I really like this foil version, so I think I'm going to put that in my other deck. Deflecting Spot. Delay, maybe? Nah. Delay's not bad. And we are on Possibility Storm. I wonder if there's any scry effects out there. Okay, so I was like consulting the Book of Armaments. Transplant Theorist. It's a really interesting card. When it enters, or when another artifact enters, you may draw a card. If you do, then discard a card. So it has an impulse draw. Put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. It's going to enable us to loop these turn spells pretty good. Is there a world where I just get rid of the double? I get rid of the double. Interesting. So then maybe I take the Steel Enchantment out, and then Blood Moon effects are kind of hurtful to us. We're not on that many. Maybe it's back to basics. Maybe just drop back to basics and just do Blood Moon. That might be the world. Because, like, I can, like, the Blood Moon effects, but Back to Basics still hurts me pretty good. Just being on mountains would be fine. I think we can do that. That sounds pretty good. Is there a better art for this? Switch printing. Oh, you know, I guess this. Copy, Enchantment, Curiosity, Blood Moon. Are we? But we're only on one Blood Moon then. Magus and the Moon might have to go into the deck. Magus of the Moon. I think it's a wizard too. It is a wizard. So theoretically, between that and this, we can search for them. And with the Drift of Phantasms. So what if we drop the Drift of Phantasms and play the other wizard cycle instead? It'll give up the one line, but we'll be able to get the Mage. Something Mage, V-Mage. Oh, this is gonna be weird. Veldalken. Archmage. Either Mage. This one? Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Because this one comes into play. Return target sliver to owner's hand. Kind of useless, but there could be a case where like it comes into play and bounces a creature that has all creature types. Wizard cycling 3, but you can do it at instant speed. So early on, you can wizard cycle this or the step through to go get one of the Blood Moon effects to like consistently always have a Blood Moon effect. I think it's pretty good, and then we're on two things that work with cards going on the bottom to the bottom of your library that you're going to draw. So it's a pretty good engine there. Like, I think that's not bad. And then the brainstorm and that. Why is that so weird? Why was that art so weird? Mr. Booster 2, fine. Maybe there's a world where we like delay. Just peeking over our list. I'm just thinking like Mental Misstep maybe. Again, this is going to be one of those decks like that doesn't have a lot of sway. You won't be able to mess up. But it's definitely going to have like legs to it. I think the Redirect Lightning's got to go for now. Move the sideboard. Just trying to think what we're doing. Maybe the Dualcaster comes out. Maybe it's just too cute. We'll move to the sideboard, which means then we can free up the multiplication. Do we just play Dualcaster by itself? No, I think we just move the sideboard. I can play one more land. Is there any like rocks or whatever that I missed? I feel like maybe I have to run Dig Through Time. So there's like a world where Dig Through Time, look at the top 7 cards of your library, put 2 of them in your hand, put the rest on the bottom in any order. You could stack your bottom and then draw that card. What is the take a turn? Give me a second to look it up. It's Kefnet. So this is me being really weird. Theoretically, you can reveal the first card you draw each turn. Doesn't matter where you reveal it from. If it's an instant or sorcery, you can cast a copy of it. So it's not timing restrictions. It gets around timing restrictions. So like it could be your first draw that turn is a taking turn spell. Cast it for 2 less. So it costs 3 mana to take another turn. I mean, that could be really good. I think we have to keep some of the lower end stuff. But that would be pretty good to me. We're only on 2 taking turn spells. Maybe we drop Time Twister, remove Time Twister, and put another taking turn spell in. What do we take out, though? I think Possibility Stone would be really funny in the meta. People aren't prepared for it. But actually, you know what? It's too cute. I think we're actually on another taking turn spell. So now I have to figure out which taking turn spell I don't have that doesn't exile. Alright, so it's Temporal Manipulation is the one we don't have. Temp Manipulation. Temporal Manipulation is the third one that does not exile after you cast it. So we have all of the ones that we can cast. They're all 5 mana. Is this an As Foretold deck, maybe? Maybe. I think this is good. We just need to... Okay. I think this is it for now. I don't know if it has enough win cons specifically, but like beating people to death is a legitimate win con, especially if you have infinite turns. And our ability to do the infinite thing is based on these 2. We'll always draw the card by putting it on the bottom. And then we also have the Time Stream Navigator, which in all truth is probably really too cute. If we were to drop this, we probably could just play like get rid of the 2 boots and probably have an easy time just running straight up. There's also a world where I think Commander Plate's good in this deck, because she would get... I'm going to put Commander Plate as an option. And we can search it out. I'm going to put it over here in the sideboard. So, yeah, Commander Plate would basically be like, she gets +3/+3 and has protection from each color that's not in your commander's identity. So she's protected from everything that's not fucking blue-red. That's 3 more. That would not be bad. We also could put a Godo package in here. I'm just going to move some ideas to the sideboard. So basically, I just give you options, and then people decide what they want to do. Helm of the Host is never a dead card in this deck because I can keep making copies of the commander. So if we ever get to the point where it's like mid-range and I have like 3 of her, it just becomes impossible to deal with. But I think this is a viable engine here. Let's look at